Let's talk about JIMOVE MC. JIMOVE is an e-bike company that has been in Singapore for like 5 years. They are actually a manufacturer from China that specialize in e-bikes. They have a total of 4 e-bikes models. The first one that they came out with 5 years ago is JIMOVE M1, and then followed by M2, and then came the most popular e-bike of all, which is the JIMOVE LC, which I would say aesthetic wise is the most beautiful and most compact e-bike in the market right now. And then came the JIMOVE MC, which I would say aesthetic wise isn't really as beautiful as the LC, but they improve in many other areas over the LC, which I will talk about it now. Battery capacity. JIMOVE LC has 9.9 AH, and JIMOVE MC has a whopping 20.8 AH, which means double the capacity and double the range. Another differences is JIMOVE MC is fully foldable. You can fold it to a very compact size, which is almost the same size as your Grabfood bag. And JIMOVE LC can only fold the handlebar. So this means for MC, you can bring it to MRT, to bus, and even put it in the car boot, no issue. But for LC, it's a little bit tricky. You may or may not be able to bring it to bus and trains because it's a little bit bigger than the requirement, and if you want to put it in car boot, probably you can't fit it in for most of the car. That is the major differences between the two. There are many other differences as well. I think you can check it out at the Guide to Grabfood video. He actually make a comparison between the two. You can check it out. And one thing to note is even though MC has double the battery capacity, the weight between the both of them is still the same. So that is the insane thing they did with MC. And let's move on to the pros and cons of this e-bike, JIMOVE MC. I guess what you guys are most interested in is the range, but sad to say I wasn't able to complete the battery test even with me doing the 24 hours Grabfood delivery. I only able to clock about 70 km and the battery only dropped by 1 bar, so that is pretty insane. But that is me using only gear 3, and many of you guys are very interested in how many trips you can do with gear 5. And one guy actually commented in my video, the 24 hours Grabfood video in the Guide to Grabfood channel. Shout out to Neon Affair. He actually owns an MC and it covers about 70 to 80 km at gear 5. So that is about the same amount that I cover on gear 3, except that I only use 1 bar. So I guess gear 5 it actually is a lot battery. And when he switched between gear 3 and gear 5, he actually can cover about 33 trips. That I would say is a more realistic estimate. I guess if you have an e-bike that can last about 30 trips something for the whole day, I think I'd be pretty satisfied with that. Foldability, I actually talked about it. You can bring it to the bus, the train, and even keep in the car boot. It's small enough to keep in the car boot. I think this is one of the criteria that I would really like to have in an e-bike, especially during unnecessary situations, for like when your bike broke down or your bike ran out of battery and you are far away from home. At least you still can take a transport back home. And the bike itself is actually very small and light compared to what most people think. I also think it's going to be quite big, but it's actually a lot smaller and actually not as bad looking as I imagined. It can actually fit into any lift straight in. You don't have to adjust it. Even if you have a delivery rack and a delivery bag, it can just fit in straight in, no issue. It won't block the lift door. And it's even light enough to even for you to cycle it without the motor. So that is how light it is. Other than that, the build quality is very good. The brakes, yeah, the brakes is actually very good. actually it's a bit too strong for my liking, and my friend actually tried the bike. He actually really loved the brakes. It's very strong, I would say, the brakes. And for the rest, to me, it's like a minor pros to me. The LCD display has many functions. You can toggle up to 5 mode of speeds. You can display the real-time speed. You also have an odometer which can track the distance you have traveled so far. Even have a timer as well, and a few other features. So it's packed with quite a few nifty features that maybe you won't need, but it's just something good to have. It also has a huge ass comfortable seat, which is spongy and airy, which I have used it for like 24 hours, so it's pretty awesome. And a ring bell instead of a horn. People are kind of sensitive these days because of the PMD riders. And also, by the way, the huge ass battery is detachable as well. You can charge it separately by itself if you even want an extra battery. That is, if you ever want one. And that's pretty much all for the pros. I don't really have much except for one issue with the build quality, which I will touch on in a while. Yeah, that's all for the pros. Okay, for the cons, before I forget, let's go back to the comments. And I'm really thankful to this guy, that's Neon Affair. He actually shared a lot of details, the good and the bad. And let's go to the bad. And he actually talked about regarding the battery. So I'm guessing this is the battery sag. So the battery will sag at 50%. So the speed will start to go down gradually from 50% onwards. And at 50%, the speed is about 19 to 20 kilometers, and it will drop to between 9 to 12 at the lowest when you reach 1 bar. So yeah, that is the battery sag. I'm not sure about other e-bikes, but my previous e-bikes and my previous e-scooter all sag about 40-50%. So yeah, I would say it's a pretty normal occurrence for me. But I do think that there are some bikes that actually sag at a lower percentage, like 20%, then the speed start to go down. I will just consider it as a cons. So just to let you guys know, it sag at 50%. My next con is my only gripe with the build quality of this e-bike. So when you first get the e-bike, the first thing you want to do is to mount the delivery rack and the delivery bag. So when you remove the back seat, what you will see is all the wires that you can see right up at your face. And it's just not nice, I would say. You buy a $1,400 e-bike and you have all these wires that is sticking out. So it's just not nice, and it's better for you to find something to cover it to better insulate all these stupid wires. And so far, I've been using on light rain and heavy rain for a bit as well. No issue so far, but better to be safe than sorry. Another thing is, this e-bike is only rated up to IPX4 water resistant. So this is only for light rain. So don't use it under heavy rain. So there's been cases, there's a post from the Passion Gadget. One of the customer, JIMOVE MC motor, actually got flooded. So to change it, you actually have to spend like $200 to change the new motor. I won't say this is the cons of the MC. It actually applies to all the e-bikes, especially during monsoon season right now. There's a lot of rains. Don't try to ride during heavy rain. At the same time, this e-bike is very light and small. The wheels is only 14-inch, same as the LC. You can feel every bumps and humps and rocks and the branches that you go through. So I would say it's actually a bit less stable, and even when you're going at high speed, you can feel the handlebar actually wobble a bit. And also the handlebar is also a little bit smaller for some people for comfort. If you're coming from a bigger bike and changing to a smaller bike, you can definitely feel the difference. If you're riding under wet weather, the bike will become very slippery, especially when you go on uneven terrain like PCN. Some PCN, the terrains are very bad, so you may slip. But if you're riding on road, I think it should be perfectly fine. Most of the road are actually quite pretty smooth. But I'll still suggest to ride at a lower speed if it's raining. Other than that, I don't have any much cons to say. It's fine. Oh, and also another thing is, it doesn't have a locking mechanism for this $1,400 e-bike. So be prepared for yourself to get a good lock to secure this e-bike. Wow, sunset already, oh my god. So, in conclusion, is this the best e-bike out there for Grabfood Delivery. I would say it all depends on your preferences. For some people, they actually prefer a longer range and a bigger battery like me. Also, for some people, they prefer a better riding experience, which means probably they will go for a bigger bike such as the Zebra and the Eco Drive. At the same time, they're also the cheapest e-bike out there in the market right now. There's also a new batch of e-bike that are kind of in the middle of a category whereby the wheels are slightly bigger and they have a suspension at the back, which would definitely improve the riding experience. They are the Nexus, the Mido and Scorpion, and their design is actually quite cool as well. But overall, for my preferences, JIMOVE MC will still be the one that I will go for, with the biggest battery capacity in the market right now, but still keeping it at a small and light form factor. I would say it pretty much seals the deal for me. Some of you may ask, why not just get extra battery for all those other e-bikes? The thing is, you have to go through the hassle of charging 2 batteries with 1 charger, or maybe you buy one more extra charger, then you will have 2 chargers and 2 batteries for you to fumble with. And also when you're riding halfway, you may have to go through the hassle of changing the battery, which probably you have to do it quite often. And where are you going to keep the extra battery? And you'll probably be in the Grabfood bag with all the heated meals. So at the end of the day, I would say it's just a matter of saving those extra steps when you can just get an MC with a bigger battery. For the riding experience, I don't really have issue with it. I actually did a 24 hours Grabfood delivery with this MC and it's fine. And for the battery side, I would say it's a natural occurrence, but I'm not sure is it most of the e-bike sag at like 40-50%. I'm not sure. But other than that, I would say it's definitely one of the top few e-bikes out there in the market right now you can buy. And that's all for the review of this e-bike JIMOVE MC. Overall awesome e-bike. I don't really have much complaint. Yeah, and that's all for this vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Ciao. Oh man, can't believe I shoot until night time. And by the way, I've reached 300 subs. Yay! Very thankful for you guys. And if you enjoyed the video, do like and subscribe, and do check out the other videos. Bye.